Route 66, the Mother Road, a ribbon of asphalt stretching across America's heartland. It whispers tales of adventure, of dreams pursued and memories made. From Chicago to Santa Monica, it carries the echoes of laughter and the rumble of engines, a symphony of Americana. But beneath the surface, darkness lurks. A history etched not just in sunshine and laughter, but in shadows and whispers. For every mile of sun-drenched highway, there's a stretch where the air turns cold, where the wind whispers secrets best left unheard. Deadman's Pass. The name itself sends shivers down the spines of even the most seasoned travelers. Legend has it that the pass earned its name from a tragic accident in the early days of the road. A stagecoach, overloaded with passengers and their dreams, tumbled off the treacherous path, claiming the lives of all aboard. Their souls, it is said, still wander the pass, seeking solace they cannot find. The air here hangs heavy, thick with the weight of unspoken stories. The silence is broken only by the mournful cry of the wind, a sound that chills the soul and awakens primal fears. Locals tell tales of phantom headlights appearing out of nowhere, only to vanish just as quickly. They speak of disembodied whispers carried on the breeze that send chills down the spines of those who dare to listen. Eric, a young photographer drawn to the allure of Route 66, found himself captivated by the tales of Deadman's Pass. He dismissed them as folklore, mere stories spun to entertain tourists. He'd conquer the pass, capture its stark beauty, and prove that fear was nothing but a figment of the imagination. As dusk settled over the desolate landscape, Eric set up his camera, eager to capture the ethereal beauty of the setting sun. A chill wind whipped around him, but he paid it no heed, too focused on his art. A flicker of movement at the edge of his vision caught his eye. Turning, he saw him. A tall, gaunt figure shrouded in shadow, standing silently by the roadside. The figure raised a hand as if beckoning, then dissolved into the twilight. Shaken but undeterred, Eric packed up his gear and drove on, the image of the figure seared into his mind. He stopped at a diner a few miles down the road, hoping a warm meal and a strong cup of coffee would chase away the lingering unease. As he stepped out of his car, he noticed something that sent a fresh wave of fear coursing through him. There, on his dusty car door, were two handprints. Distinct, perfect handprints, as if burned into the metal itself. He showed the handprints to the diner owner, a grizzled old man with eyes that held the wisdom of generations. The old man just shook his head and muttered, "Deadman's Pass doesn't let go easily." He refused to touch the car, and his eyes held a look of pity as Eric drove away. The vanished hitchhiker, lost in the mists of time. The old man's words echoed in Eric's mind as he drove, each mile amplifying his unease. He thought about the stories he'd heard. The legend of the vanished hitchhiker, a young woman in a white dress who appeared on the side of the road, thumb outstretched. Those who stopped to help her would find their kindness met with chilling silence. She'd vanish from their cars as quickly and mysteriously as she'd appeared, leaving behind only a lingering sense of dread and the faint scent of rain. He thought of the truck driver who swore he'd seen a ghostly figure step out in front of his rig. He'd swerved to avoid it, sending his truck careening off the road. When they pulled him from the wreckage, he was babbling about a man in a dusty hat, his eyes filled with an unearthly light. Whispers on the wind, travelers' tales. Stories of strange occurrences on Deadman's Pass were as numerous as the stars in the desert sky. Engines stalled without reason. Radios crackled with static and whispers, and compasses spun wildly, their needles unable to find north. Some spoke of a feeling of being watched, an unseen presence following their every move. Others heard their names whispered on the wind, the voice cold and unfamiliar, sending shivers down their spines. One woman told of seeing a spectral dog running alongside her car, its eyes glowing red in the darkness. Another spoke of a child's laughter echoing through the desolate landscape, a sound both innocent and chilling. These stories, whispered in hushed tones, painted a picture of a place where the veil between the living and the dead was thin, a place where the past refused to stay buried. Offerings of peace appeasement for a restless soul. Over time, travelers began leaving offerings at the side of the road, hoping to appease the spirits that haunted the pass. Trinkets, flowers, handwritten notes of apology or prayers for safe passage. A small shrine had sprung up at the base of a gnarled old tree, adorned with faded photographs, flickering candles, and trinkets that spoke volumes about the hopes and fears of those who'd passed through this desolate stretch of highway. Some dismissed the offerings as superstition, the desperate acts of frightened travelers grasping for a sense of control in the face of the unknown. Others saw them as a sign of respect, a way of acknowledging the power of the unseen, and asking for safe passage through a realm where the living and the dead walked hand in hand. Fear and fascination, a highway's dark embrace. Despite the chilling tales and unexplained occurrences, Deadman's Pass continued to draw travelers to its treacherous embrace. Perhaps it was the allure of the unknown, the desire to test the limits of their courage. Maybe it was the melancholic beauty of the desolate landscape, a stark reminder of the fragility of life. Whatever the reason, Deadman's Pass remained a place of pilgrimage, a place where fear and fascination intertwined. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the desolate landscape, Eric found himself drawn back to Deadman's Pass. He couldn't explain it, this pull he felt towards this place of shadows and whispers. He parked his car by the side of the road, the handprints still etched on the door, a chilling reminder of his previous encounter. He stepped out into the cool night air, the silence broken only by the mournful cry of the wind. He looked out at the empty highway, a ribbon of asphalt stretching into the darkness, and he knew that some stories, like the road itself, would never truly end.